Hi, folks. We're with Tacitus today. Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the media coverage. This is from a number of media outlets, but in particular, one of the largest media outlets in the world. Their coverage of President Trump's speech to the recent speech to the Davos World Economic Forum crowd. Now, the World Economic Forum's catch cry is, we're going to make the world a better place. And this is the same time as they're saying you'll own nothing and be happy and you'll eat the bugs and all white people will be replaced in their own country by people from other parts of the world who hate you. And this is going to be an improvement somehow. We're looking out for your best interests. I mean, this is insane. I mean, these people must believe their own bullshit to come out with nonsense like that. Now, this is I didn't listen to all of President Trump's speech to Davos, by the way, so maybe there's something in there that was controversial, although I suspect not. I suspect it's consistent with the president's policy platform and something he's articulated many times over the previous months and during the presidential election campaign. So anyway, this is the now. Bear in mind, this journalist is a brown homosexual, and his attacks on Trump, since day one have been vicious and one-sided. Any lie, any untruth, any misrepresentation is enough, as long as it presents Trump in an unflattering light, and that's this. So they've appointed a globalist activist media outlet has appointed a passionate Trump-hating journalist to cover the event. So it's no surprise as to what he's going to come up with. Well, this is the article kicks off by asserting that President Trump is planning world domination. Not like the WEF that wants to penetrate governments all over the world and force people to eat the bugs and you'll own nothing. No, WEF, they're good people. The bad person is Trump. World domination, and using phrases like he behaved like a dominating emperor. No, he didn't. And he menaced the people at Davos. He menaced the whole world like a Nazi dictator. And then Trump smiled like a mafia gangster. Oh, the evilness of it all. For those good people at Davos, they want to take away your livelihood, take away your nation, take away your heritage, take away your culture, fill the country full of people that hate you, get you to eat bugs and know nothing. They're the good people. Trump is the bad guy. Fuck. And he's going to damage world trade. He's going to be a threat to the world and to the world economic system. He's a threat. I mean, you can't believe what they're saying. So, the idea that the Klaus Schwabs and all this, the people that are subverting and undermining democracy, the rule of law, and all this sort of stuff, the Soros and so on, they're the good people, and Trump's the bad guy, is the gig here. So Trump's this huge threat. Now the rest of the world, sensible, sane world, the good people, the good, not the evil, they have to band together and they have to retaliate. They have to fight back against Trump, and that's what it is. It's fighting back against the evil. And now he had the hide to talk about Zuckerberg and those sort of people as the rich broligarchy, and the bros and the oligarchy sort of combined into a word. And now, while Zuckerberg was and the other people in the social media space, well, they were shutting down conservative voices, while they were censoring the news and preventing conservative voices from being heard. They were the good people. They were good people standing up for justice and social justice, and they were the ones fighting back against the evil. But now they've sort of sided with Trump, or more importantly, relaxed the censorship rules. Then they're just a rich oligarchy. They're now part of the evil. Now, the world is an evil place, filled with wickedness and evil and oppression. Now, this is a brown guy who whose parents came from third world country to Britain, and he he's been educated in Britain at the at the expense of the British taxpayer, and he was spotted early on, because you've got the standard globalist sort of spotting the talent, the useful idiots that they can put forward as standard bearers for the globalist program. And he must have been spotted fairly early, because he's an ordinary student, and then suddenly he's plucked out of obscurity, and he's now editor of the student newspaper. Now, at the time, he was in an area that would have been clearly majority white, and the kids at the school would have been majority, but somehow he ends up being chosen as the editor of the student newspaper. I don't believe that would happen. So clearly the teachers have engineered it. And you see, teachers that I know, they say when there's elections for the student council, they directly and aggressively interfere in the outcomes. They get to count the votes. And so they get to say, well, the vote was won by Ashok or by Ram or Consuela or whatever. And so they get to decide. They get to read out the numbers there. So they have no bones about it. The teachers see themselves as social engineers, and it's important that brown homosexuals get put in charge of the student newspaper. They just say to the student, well, he got the most votes, and when in fact the guy may not have got any votes. He may have got one vote himself. And they also make sure and encourage non-white, minority groups to stand for student council and elections, and then they'll stack and rig the vote. This is why these same people, these same teachers and academics, they say there's nothing wrong with rigging the vote, provided it stops Trump. It's quite okay to do that. We're allowed to do that, because we're fighting back against it. And they don't see the the integrity of a system as being in itself important, but that's irrelevant. Social engineering means breaking the rules and corrupting votes or anything like that, then so be it. That's fine. So this kid gets to be editor of the student newspaper. Now, he then magically wins a scholarship to go to an Ivy League university. Now, we're talking about a very ordinary student here, and he gets a scholarship to go and study international politics and journalism at an Ivy League university. And so how does he get that exactly? Now, if you do some digging around, you can find some of the articles he's supposedly written for the student newspaper, ridiculous stuff about how evil white people are and the colonialists and so on. So he's really just regurgitating the propaganda, the globalist machine, eradicate the West, eradicate Western culture, blame the West for everything. He's just regurgitating those talking points and pieces of propaganda in the student magazine, and then going to university where that supposedly. Now, while just as he's finishing university, he then gets a book publishing deal. Why? Some obscure nobody who hasn't earned anything thus far. He's just been a flunky stooge, passenger on the globalist machine. Then he gets a book publishing deal. This is all part of legitimizing his credentials. He won a scholarship. He was editor of the student newspaper. Then he's also editor of the student newspaper at the university, and he got a book publishing deal. This is someone of real consequences. This is a fucking genius, and we should sit up and take notice of this guy. No, he's achieved none of those things. All of it was arranged and packaged up by the globalists. Then he goes straight out of university, straight into a government job in again, a large media outlet in Britain, just back straight into it. And within a short time, he's desk editor of this and, leading affairs commentator on that and so on. So he has a dream run where he just gets cozy job after cozy job after cozy job. And so, he's a nobody. And all he did was, just come up with a hysterical anything Trump said or did was just, look, how can we reflect this in a bad light? He was like an emperor. He smiled like a mafia gangster. I mean, he's a threat, and he's this and he's that, and he menaced the audience. And this is, I mean, there was nothing legitimate in what Trump did, according to this journalist. But that was why they picked him as a 15-year-old out of high school to say, we can use him. He can be a propaganda, standard bearer for the globalist cause. Yep, we can use that guy. And then they invented him. And so this is a nobody that, would have a job in some suburban convenience store in the real world, but he's been turned into a propaganda pusher for the globalists. And he's brown, he's gay. What else do you need? You've been a Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.